I've always had a curiosity for the dark corners of the internet. It's something about the unknown that pulls me in. One night, with nothing but the hum of my computer and the soft patter of rain outside, I decided to delve into the dark web. It wasn't my first time, but I'd never gone too deep before. This time I wanted to see more. I started with the usual forums, chat rooms, marketplaces. Most of it was the same illegal junk drugs, counterfeit money, weapons. It was all disturbingly mundane. But then, I stumbled upon a forum thread titled "The Show That Never Ends." The thread was cryptic, with users discussing something called the Black Room. Intrigued, I followed the links and found myself on a page with nothing but a black screen and a chat box. The chat box pinged to life. "Welcome to the Black Room. You are about to witness a show like no other. Type enter to begin." Without thinking, I typed enter. The screen flickered and then came to life with a grainy, live video feed. The room was dimly lit, and the only visible object was a wooden chair in the center. The chat box was still active, and people were typing frantically, but their messages were cryptic and filled with anticipation. Minutes passed like hours. I was about to close the window when the feed changed. A man, hooded and masked, dragged someone into the room. The person was bound, gagged, and struggling. I felt my heart rate quicken, but I couldn't look away. The masked figure tied the person to the chair and disappeared off screen. The chat exploded with excitement. "It's starting. Finally, a new show. Hope this one lasts longer." I tried to leave the site, but my mouse wouldn't move. The keyboard was unresponsive too. I was trapped, forced to watch. The masked man returned, holding a small box. He opened it, revealing various surgical tools. My stomach churned as he selected a scalpel, holding it up to the camera for everyone to see. The bound person's muffled screams filled the room as the masked man approached. He began to cut, and I could see every agonizing detail. Blood pooled and dripped, and the victim's struggles weakened. The chat was a frenzy of sick encouragements and morbid fascination. I felt nauseous, bile rising in my throat. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I wanted to close my eyes, but they were fixed on the screen, as if glued open by some unseen force. Then, the camera zoomed in on the victim's face. Their eyes were wide with terror, and I felt a jolt of recognition. It was like looking in a mirror, my own face contorted in fear and pain. I was the victim. I could feel every slice, every moment of agony, but I was helpless, paralyzed by fear and some dark power of the sight. I wanted to wake up, to escape this nightmare, but it was too real. The masked man whispered something inaudible, and the screen went black. I was back in my room, the rain still tapping at the window. My computer was off. My hands were shaking, drenched in sweat. I checked the mirror. My face was fine. It was just a dream, a horrible, vivid dream. But then I noticed a small cut on my cheek, fresh and stinging. I turned my computer back on, desperate to understand what had happened. The forums were gone. The links vanished. It was as if the Black Room had never existed. I tried to tell myself it was just a nightmare, a trick of the mind. But the cut was real, and the memory of that room haunted my every waking moment. Every time I closed my eyes, I was back in that chair, staring into my own terrified eyes. And in the darkest corners of my mind, I could still hear the masked man's whisper, promising that the show would never end.